Have you ever met someone who walked into a room and instantly commanded respect? Not because they were famous, not because they were rich, and not because they were physically stronger than everyone else. Yet somehow, people listened when they spoke. They valued their opinions, and they naturally treated them with respect. Now think about the opposite. Have you ever seen someone desperately trying to earn respect? Talking louder, showing off, trying to impress everyone, only to be ignored? Why does this happen? The answer isn't luck, and it isn't appearance. It's psychology. Every single day, your brain silently judges the people around you. Within seconds, it starts asking questions. Can this person be trusted? Are they confident? Are they emotionally stable? Should I follow them or ignore them? The surprising part is that most of these judgments happen automatically. We rarely realize we're making them. In today's video, you'll discover the hidden psychological principles that make some people instantly respected, while others struggle to be taken seriously. Some of these principles may completely change the way you see yourself and the people around you. Let's begin. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. Before anyone introduces themselves, before a single conversation begins, people are already forming opinions about you. This isn't rudeness, it's survival. For thousands of years, the human brain has evolved to make rapid decisions about the people around us. Our ancestors had only seconds to answer important questions. Is this person a friend or a threat? Can I trust them, or should I stay away? Although the modern world has changed, our brains still work in much the same way. Today, instead of judging who might attack us, we quickly judge something different. Does this person seem confident? Do they look trustworthy? Should I listen to them? Research in psychology suggests that first impressions can form in just a fraction of a second. Your posture, your facial expression, the way you walk, even the speed of your movements. All of these send silent messages before you ever say a word. What's fascinating is that these first impressions often feel incredibly accurate, but they aren't always true. Sometimes we respect the wrong people simply because they appear confident, and sometimes we underestimate truly capable people because they seem quiet or reserved. Your brain isn't searching for the truth, it's searching for the fastest answer. Understanding this simple psychological fact changes the way you see every interaction, because whether you realize it or not, people start deciding who you are long before your conversation even begins. Have you ever noticed that some people don't need to ask for attention? The moment they enter a room, people naturally look at them. It's easy to assume they have some special talent, but psychology suggests something different. Long before anyone hears your words, they notice your behavior, the way you walk, the way you stand, the way you react to the people around you. These silent signals tell others whether you appear calm, confident, or uncertain. Think about someone who constantly fidgets, looks at the floor, and rushes every movement. Even if they're highly intelligent, people may unconsciously see them as nervous or unsure. Now imagine someone else. They walk at a comfortable pace. They keep their shoulders relaxed. When they speak, they don't rush. They pause naturally. They maintain comfortable eye contact without staring. Nothing about them seems forced. Their calmness sends a powerful message. I'm comfortable with who I am. And people notice. Interestingly, confidence isn't about taking up the most space or speaking the loudest. Research shows that genuine confidence is often expressed through emotional stability, not dominance. The loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest. Sometimes they're simply trying to prove something. The people who earn the most respect rarely feel the need to convince everyone else of their value. Their behavior speaks before they do. And that's exactly why others pay attention. Because confidence that doesn't need to be announced often feels the most believable. But body language is only the beginning. There's another psychological principle that can completely change how people see you. And surprisingly, it has nothing to do with your appearance. It has everything to do with how you speak. Think about the last time you listened to a great speaker. What made them convincing? Was it the words they used? Or was it the way they said them? Psychologists have found that people don't judge communication based only on words. They also pay close attention to tone, pace, and emotion. Imagine two people saying exactly the same sentence. The first speaks quickly, rushes every word, and sounds uncertain. The second speaks calmly, pauses naturally, and sounds confident. Even though the message is identical, most people will trust the second speaker more. Why? Because the brain constantly looks for signs of confidence. A calm voice suggests emotional control, and emotional control often creates the impression of competence. This doesn't mean you should speak slowly all the time. It means you should avoid sounding rushed or desperate. People often mistake loud voices for confidence, but true confidence is usually quiet. Confident people don't feel the need to prove themselves with volume. Instead, they choose their words carefully. They pause when necessary, and they allow silence to do part of the work. Ironically, silence can make your words more powerful. A short pause before an important sentence creates anticipation. It gives people time to focus, and it signals that what you're about to say matters. That's why many respected leaders, speakers, and negotiators aren't the fastest talkers. They're often the calmest. Their confidence isn't heard in how much they speak. It's heard in how comfortably they don't. But even a confident voice isn't enough. There's one psychological mistake that instantly destroys respect, and most people make it every single day. Let's find out what it is. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. Within minutes, they tell you how successful they are, how smart they are, how many important people they know, how much money they make. At first, it sounds impressive, but after a while, something feels off. Why? Because psychology shows that people who constantly try to prove their value often achieve the opposite. When someone feels genuinely confident, they don't need constant validation from others. Their actions speak for them. People naturally notice competence without being reminded of it. On the other hand, someone who constantly seeks approval may unintentionally signal insecurity. This doesn't mean you should hide your achievements. It means that how you share them matters. The most respected people often let others discover their strengths over time. They don't force admiration. They earn it. There's an old saying, confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. While it's an oversimplification, it captures an important psychological idea. People are generally more influenced by consistent behavior than by bold claims. If someone says they're honest, you'll probably wait for proof. If they say they're a great leader, you'll watch how they treat other people. In the end, actions almost always outweigh words. Real respect grows from what people repeatedly observe, not from what they're told to believe. So if respect isn't built by showing off, what actually makes people trust and admire someone over the long term? The answer lies in one powerful psychological trait that many people overlook. Let's explore it next. Imagine you have two friends. The first one always keeps their promises. If they say they'll call you at 6, they call at 6. If they promise to help, they help. The second friend is different. Sometimes they keep their word. Sometimes they disappear without an explanation. Sometimes they change their mind at the last minute. Now ask yourself, which one would you trust more? The answer seems obvious, but the psychology behind it is fascinating. Our brains are constantly searching for patterns. When someone's behavior is consistent, the brain begins to predict what they'll do next. And predictability creates a sense of safety. That's one of the foundations of trust. This is why people don't respect someone because they had one great day. They respect them because they show the same values again and again. Think about the people you admire most. It's probably not because they were perfect. It's because they were dependable. They stayed calm under pressure. They treated people with respect. They followed through on their commitments. Over time, these repeated actions become their reputation. And reputation is far more powerful than a first impression. A single impressive moment might get someone's attention, but only consistency keeps their respect. In psychology, trust isn't built through grand gestures. It's built through small actions repeated over time. That's why the most respected people are often the most reliable. Not the loudest, not the most famous, just the ones whose actions match their words. But there's one final psychological principle that ties everything together. It explains why some people leave a lasting impression, even after just one conversation. Let's discover the secret. Here's one of the biggest misconceptions about respect. Many people believe respect is something you demand, but psychology suggests something very different. The people who earn the most respect rarely spend time trying to prove they're important. Instead, they make other people feel valued. They listen without interrupting. They stay calm during disagreements. They don't feel the need to win every argument. And they treat everyone with the same level of courtesy, whether they're speaking to a CEO or a stranger. Why does this matter? Because human beings naturally respond to how they're treated. When someone makes us feel heard, understood, and respected, we tend to return those feelings. This doesn't happen every time. Not everyone will respond the same way. But in healthy relationships and everyday interactions, showing respect often encourages respect in return. True confidence isn't about making other people feel small. It's about being secure enough that you don't need to. The most respected people aren't always the loudest, the richest, or the most powerful. More often, they're the people who are calm under pressure, reliable over time, and respectful toward others. Their influence doesn't come from fear. It comes from trust. And trust is one of the most powerful forms of respect anyone can earn. So, why do some people earn respect almost instantly? It isn't because they're perfect. It isn't because they're born different. It's because the small things they do send powerful psychological signals. The way they carry themselves, the way they speak, the way they keep their promises, and the way they treat other people. The good news is that these are skills, not talents. They can be learned. They can be practiced. And over time, they can completely change the way people see you. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more fascinating psychology explained in a simple way, don't forget to subscribe to Daily Psychology. Thanks for watching. And remember, the better you understand people, the better you understand yourself.